This is Lauren.
This is Trey.
And this
is the Partnership Podcast.
Lauren and I recently had a disagreement over something that was small, like a 2 out of 10, but it turned in to an 8 out of 10, and it triggered a lot of our old patterns, like the ones that we are addressing and trying to reroute in ourselves, and we thought we should talk about it. This is a 2-part podcast. This is the first one. Thank you for listening.
You know, in our childhood, what was my brothers and I, we would make clubs, and then we would be like, we need an emergency meeting of the such and such, such and such.
Yeah.
What am I even referencing? But that's like a thing in my body, like a memory, core memory. This is what that feels like.
Yeah.
Like
I love that.
We didn't need an emergency gathering of the Rogers members. Like, that's what it sounds like. Happy Saturday morning. Happy emergency pod.
Good morning.
It's so funny because I just uploaded Hairgate, and we're like, look at us. We're so tooled. We are the best arguers in the world. It's done. That's what we say. We're like, and then it's done. Famous last words. So let me give the audience some context. Yesterday, in between me taking the baby to school and then running to the gym, I walked through the kitchen, and what should have been just like a passing request from you, which was, hey, can we have a meeting of our CFOs? Which we just sometimes do, which go back to the Money Important podcast, everybody. Watch Lauren freak out. But we have worked a lot through the money conversations. What should have been a passing request for that, and then a passing me noticing what was on the whiteboard on the fridge, turned into Trauma Trigger Central in the kitchen, and a fascinating 30 minutes of us both just watching us in our primal states.
Did we talk for about 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so much tenderness, so many very vulnerable feelings. What was wild is nobody, I don't think, was actively wounding the other. There was not a lot of actions going on. There was a lot of narrating what was going on. And yeah, then I left to go to the gym, and we'll tell all the other pieces of the story, but kind of just agreed to sit in the discomfort and give pace and space and patience to one another yesterday. And it was very clear that I had some digging to do to figure out what was going on and what was being triggered. And then we both agreed that it would be better to have this conversation on camera because it's really good and there's a lot here. So we even pushed the pause button last night when we kind of had an opportunity to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And so let's wait till tomorrow. But then we went ahead and had sex last night because we wanted to do a test trial run on when is it okay to communicate with the language of the body and assure the other one of our love and our consistency and our passion for the other in the midst of some pretty interesting stuff moving in our nervous systems. And we did, and it was lovely. We'll talk about that. And now we're here to close the loop, I guess, on
hopefully.
the combo. Maybe,
yeah, I mean, hopefully,
hopefully. But it is interesting, and the audience knows this, that you and I talk about the energy flow between us. And I've definitely, since yesterday, been very aware of it's like there's an artery blockage. I don't feel I'm not shut out. I don't feel shut out. I feel cared for. I feel seen. I feel loved. And yet there's like an artery blocked.
Same. Yeah. I felt afterward, I felt just avoidant.
Sure. Same. We're both, in Stan Tatkin's words, islands. Like we're both very good on our own. Same.
Yeah.
Same. Felt all the avoidance. And
yeah, do you want to paint the picture of what happened in the morning? Kind of go into detail on that?
You summarize things really much better. So do you want to?
Sure.
Especially since we're in a time crunch, and then
I'll
come in with all the, if it feels good.
Yeah. It was in the morning, yesterday. Mm-hmm. For context, it is April 5th today. So it was a couple of days ago that the S&P 500 dipped. I think the whole U.S. stock market dipped because the announcement of the president's tariffs were coming in. And so I was like, okay, it's time to buy. I buy index funds through Vanguard, and it's like the foundation of my investment strategy. And so I bought. And the following morning, I go, babe, hey, I bought some stocks. I want to also chime in if anything's inaccurate too.
Great. You're doing a great job.
I bought some stocks. Can we have a meeting with, we call it our CFOs, where it's like we talk finances. We talk future outlooks. We talk this. And my energy in my mind is like, okay, time to tighten up. Because that's completely natural. Shit. In kind of economic uncertainty. So just wanted to schedule that. And then, Lauren's, like, one of her tires is not holding in air right now. So she goes, can you take a look at it, or can we keep an eye on it for the next week? And I drove your car to go,
Do boxes.
Yeah, do boxes, recycling. So I was like, oh yeah, the fucking air is not holding in this thing, so we need to get air. So she has a list of like stuff to do on the fridge so she can see it. And I added like, let's do tires, and in parentheses, like, Trey would love to help. And then there was some things for the baby, our 14-year-old, that if she does, she gets cash, like organizing, watering, like, taking out the trash. So there was some crossed out ones where she took care of, and I actually erased those things because I was like, oh, they're crossed out, and I erased it. And so we had the conversation about money first, and then I go, hey, I added it like to your list about the tires. Totally agree. And then essentially like a quiet hell broke loose. And that's why we're here now.
It's so fun, y'all. If you don't sit down and just listen to your partner's experience, like, and drop into their body, I highly recommend you do it, because, honey, that was a fascinating way to hear the story, right? Because we're coming at it from different angles, and you never have an intent to harm me. There's
Right back at you.
There's never an intent. And yet sometimes we can stumble into things or catch somebody off guard and you and I say, in our relationship, there's freedom to be messy. There is freedom to accidentally do that, because the other alternative is to always try to be perfect and never want to make anybody uncomfortable and start tiptoeing around on eggshells. And we're not about that shit. Mm-mm. So sometimes things like this happen. Interesting to consider all of this. I completely forgot you drove my car. I was like, what was the impetus for that? That makes complete sense. And so the audience knows, yeah, about a week and a half ago, I put air in my front tire again for the like second time in a month because it was saying tire pressure low. And I was like, So I, with conscious masculinity in my body, was like, hey, babe, FYI, I want to be mindful of this. Will you watch out with it? Let's both just start tracking. It could have been, we've had crazy temperature changes. So I was like, could just be fine. But in my mind, it's been a while since she's had new tires. This car might be a thing we need to look at. You were in agreement. We were all so in agreement on this thing. Okay. As I've dug. So y'all, yes, the quiet hell broke loose. It is so funny. Because there's no screaming. There's no meanness. It's like, it's as if like all of a sudden, yes, Trey and I are islands, but we're like anchored together most of the time. And then all of a sudden, I pull up my anchor and I just start floating out to sea. I'm like,
can you turn your phone off, please?
Yes.
Thanks, babe.
It's like I felt in the kitchen every single trauma response in my body, but especially flight in this instance. And especially these feelings of, which felt very reminiscent to Hairgate, of I don't want to disappoint him. I all of a sudden feel like I'm behind with all three of these things. I all of a sudden feel like my life is being put on somebody else's timeline. And so then, then we go into the fight response as well of being micromanaged is like horrifying to me. And also feeling like, yeah, I'd missed something. I felt not a part of the plan.
Is it accurate if we have to change our entire like spending, like we have to change our entire lifestyle also? You shared that as well?
Yes.
Right.
So I could tell there were things new immediately, right? When I feel these responses now, and this is what's so cool, woohoo, cool, catch-22, is I'm like, oh God, this is about something so much deeper. This is not about my kind, loving husband using terminology that we use about having some CFO conversation. And so sweet Trey is just over there going, is this the money thing? Which we both feel that we've worked through. And I'm like, I don't think so. I'm an open book on all that stuff. Like, no. So anyway, I'll give the back context, and then I just would love for you to answer or ask questions and give your feedback and experiences too. What I think I've gotten down to is that growing up, shocker, two things were present. One, women deferred to the man. That was what I was told to be, right? I have actual memories of being told, if you don't become more submissive, more meek, a good man, a godly man is never going to be attracted to you. You need to change so that a good man wants you, was what my body internalized. That's one piece, right? You submit to him financially, you submit to him in this way, you submit to him in that way. That. Second piece was, inside of my home of origin, my masculine figure, my father, was very mentally unstable. And so we would have periods of abundance, of wealth, and then we would have periods of scarcity. And Trey knows this piece, but when I say scarcity, y'all, I mean our checks bounced at the grocery store. We were labeled, like unfit with money. This has nothing to do with Trey. Whew. And as I've gotten really curious on this, my body felt that the purchasing of stocks or index funds, which is yours to do. And I have some like things we could do differently, is yours to do. And it is a piece of our relationship that you handle, and it is a joy for you. It is something that interests you. You hopped on an experience. That piece of surprise, right? Of a thing happened, which now there are after effects of the thing happening, which is just a normal thing in life, right? There are natural causes, like things cause a reaction. Felt surprising to me. And I often got in trouble when I was little in these times of scarcity for doing something that previously, just days before, had been fine. And so while I don't spend crazy amounts of money, right? Like I just and I said to you, like, oh yeah, you can see my books, you can see everything, like, yep, let's do it. I felt that all of a sudden I had done something wrong. I felt that, oh my goodness, everything needs to change now because he is now in a scarcity mindset. Again, woohoo, what does this point back to? Childhood. And then add in my my little list on the fridge. It's like everything in me all of a sudden felt juvenile. Everything in me all of a sudden felt, hey, I've taken over this list. You're not responsible enough to race these things through. I'm going to race them for, again, felt sense. Let me be clear. This is not what you were intending. And also, I've added something. So like, not only do we need to tighten the belt here, you need to now go buy new tires. And I just felt very controlled. I felt very controlled in something that I had not actually consented to. I had not consented to the things being thrown on the list. I had not consented to things being erased off the list. I had not consented to the buying event, like the index funds. Like I wasn't a part of any of this plan. And I felt so unimportant. Last thing on. not a teammate, told, felt that it made me 100% just want to run away, and it made me 100% want to become so small, because my nervous system said the only way you're going to be kept is if you become small or you can run away. And it was wild. It was so painful. I went to the gym and I was like on the verge of tears the entire time, and I just couldn't figure out why. Like, I just wanted to weep. And then it was interesting because then I got in my car and that song Labor came on. The all day, everyday therapist, mother maid, nymph and a virgin, lives to attend him, all types of things. And I was able to locate my rage, which wasn't against you, and it's good. We like rage, right? But was against the systems and the people who had led me to believe certain things. And yeah, it was really rough. So thank you for your patience. Thank you for being you. Thank you for not retaliating. I do love to be a part of the plan. Please don't erase things on my board anymore. We've already talked about that. But in the tire frame, I think had my resilience been stronger and not been all wrapped up in here, I think we could have had a very logical conversation about the tires. Like, oh, what led you to think that? I didn't know. I remember now that you drove my car. I was like, how is he even guessing that I need new tires? Where is this coming from? And then I would have said, okay, well, since this is a me purchase, I'd like to lead this now. And thanks for your help. I'll take it from here. Which just feels better in how I'm built. But I think since it was wrapped into the other things, I was like, oh, Lord, have mercy. I need you to hear I'm still so okay with the CFO conversation. I do like to be looped into the plan, and yet I totally see, I mean, I was in clients all day when the market was tanking. And that is how one functions. That's why people hire brokers, because they're like, now, it's the time to go now. And I need you to trust me that now's the time to go. And so in essence, that's there, but we could work in a text. And you and I talked about how I invested in a marketing company this year or last year, and how before I did that, it wasn't your decision, but I sought your feedback and just like, hey, we make financial decisions that are big together. Mm-hmm. And I know that when somebody drops a load of cash, we will often change our behaviors subconsciously, right? Behind the scenes. And so that's another reason to have these conversations, is that our behaviors will probably change a little bit. We will feel a little bit more tight. And that's okay. But I felt like my felt sense was all of a sudden I was in somebody else's plan. And yeah, it's so funny because it's very akin to the hair conversation too, of me being like, I didn't know this plan. Anyway, that's my bleh thoughts, feedback, feelings of your own.
Yeah, my bad about writing on your list and then erasing things on your list. Yeah, that's my bad. As far as the purchases, there's been no precedent as far as including you, say, when I invest cash. Mm-hmm. So do you want one moving forward? And this isn't like shared. This isn't a shared like portfolio or anything. So do you want one moving forward? Because that's new to me, that I need to include you in a plan like that. And it's never been, in our 6 years together, it's never been part of it. So is that something you'd like to be looped into? No.
Okay.
No. No. Not out of a place of like, I would, no, I don't, no.
Yeah, I feel like defensiveness in your body.
The defensiveness is coming from, there's never been a precedent for it. So it's,
Do you feel like I was saying there was?
I'm sorry?
Do you feel like I was saying that there was?
I feel like it was like, keep me a part of this where you've never been asked to be a part of it. But like, yeah, like if you want to be a part of it moving forward, sure.
Yeah, you haven't done anything wrong.
Yeah, and it's not like, yeah, anyway. Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not betting on the Yankees here.
No, you're
like,
not. And please hear me. I trust you, and
Yeah.
I lean on you.
Yeah,
in this stuff.
And then I did that as a gut reaction to how the market moved. I did the same thing during the pandemic when it tanked, and it was highly successful. And keeping you part of the plan was, there's a lot of defensiveness in my body right now. So keeping you a part of the plan was to schedule talking about finances. So that was how I wanted to keep you a part of the plan. And then what's been a challenge for me is, I guess it goes back to like, who's the gift for? In the tire thing, in my body, it's a gift for you because I would take your car to the tire shop. I would wait there, or I'd get an Uber. I would handle all of that. And then, so that, yeah. So, that's what's been hard for me, where it's like, oh, like this was a gift I wanted to give to you, where you have access to my car, and you essentially, it's taken care of for you. So that's hard. And then, I went to kind of avoidance, and hear me, this isn't rational, but I went to like, can she not handle like this? And how did like gifts become such a like a problem, where it's like my nervous system's rocked for the rest of the day, where it's like I have to actively like, don't think about that right now, which I don't really like doing. So yeah, like last night when you asked to you wanted your head scratched or you wanted your neck rubbed, my initial reaction was like, it's something else I have to do, or is this going to backfire? That's what it is. Is this going to backfire? Or is it going to be used against me? Because we're not financially in trouble. And then it's the same thing where it's like, oh, like how did this become so hard? And then I understand why it can at times just be beneficial to not say anything in order to avoid conflict. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not your dad. I'm not your father. I don't treat you like your father. And if I do, you should leave. Unless I get help, unless I start changing those things, you should leave. So yeah, that was hard, where I thought I was making your life easier. Yeah. But I won't write on your whiteboard anymore. I promise.
It
we
was
were in
so
the
fun.
kitchen. We were in the kitchen last night, and she was sitting where, like, her back's to the fridge where the whiteboard is. So I just kept looking at it lustfully, the whiteboard, and I kept kind of like miming, just doing a little bit of writing and erasing.
Hey, little whiteboard, I want to write on you.
Excuse me.
We have limited time, so I want to pose a question because
Yeah.
I have a session.
Yeah, we got 4 minutes.
Exactly. So would we like to pick this up
No,
like to do?
no,
I know.
I don't, no.
Okay, so
We can keep talking about this off camera, but no, I don't want to pick it up here, or I want to keep talking
right,
about it. Of
right,
course,
right,
but
exactly. But you don't want to like pause and not talk about it
No,
anymore.
I don't
Right?
wanna sit
Okay,
down and
well,
do this
because you
again.
did that before we did that. Okay, so
Excuse me.
hey,
Yeah.
you're not my father.
Mm-hmm.
It's not yours to fix. Okay. I hope that I didn't yell at you and
No,
accuse
we
you
don't-
of hurting me.
We don't use those like
Yeah.
tactics of.
I
We don't go to big time defensiveness. We don't point fingers. We don't try to be right.
Nope.
We don't go, you did this, this, and this. We don't kind of put up armor. I think that's probably why it's fucking hard too, or it hurts.
It's like we're walking around like these little tender children, and we're like, okay, we can do this. So I have a request, which is just a reminder that the best gifts start with a request from the person receiving the gift. So I hear you that you wanted to do all these things for me. Last I checked, my only request to you had been, oh my goodness, yeah, if you want to take my car on your way out to the golf course to Mr. Tire or whatever it's called, and have that one tire checked, that feels good in my body.
Great.
That was the only request I had made. In your own mind, I guess there had now been a plan of how we were going to serve Lauren and all this type of thing.
By doing that.
Yeah, that's not a gift for me. And I just want to stand really firmly in that.
Tell me more about that.
We don't have to just accept things and say, what's wrong with me for not liking this gift? That is Betty Martin's Principle 101. It's not, why don't I like this? It's what would I like instead? So I want to be really clear. What I would like instead is a conversation like this. Hey, babe, I took your car to the thing. I really am worried about the tires. Can we talk about this? Me saying, yeah, what are you worried about? I really think maybe they do need to be changed. Oh, wow. Okay, that's a different conversation. This is me saying.
Didn't we have that?
No.
No. We didn't have that in the kitchen, or we didn't have that before I put it on the list?
We didn't have it before you put it on the list, which was communicated to me in the kitchen was your car needs new tires.
Okay.
I said, whoa, that's a big investment.
Sure.
And I said, whoa, that's different. And you were like, but it need all I could see in your body, and this makes so much more sense, was I'm doing a gift for her. Why doesn't she want this gift? I didn't ask for that gift. I didn't ask for the gift of take my car, be out without a car, have to do the Uber.
Solved. You have, well, that's,
No.
me?
You. I didn't ask for a savior to swoop in and solve my car issues. It did say, and Trey will help, which is sweet. It's sweet. I don't think you had any ill intent here.
Okay. All right.
Well, all I'm asking is I don't want a gift that I haven't asked for in that type of way, that is a big service thing, babe. That is a big service thing.
Okay.
And no, thank you. No,
All
thank
right.
you. I would like to be more involved in that. Thank you for caring about me. Thank you for wanting me to be safe in my car. I would like to work on that together.
Do you feel safe to tell me that yesterday in the kitchen? What you just told me now?
I didn't know about all the things that you just said. I didn't know you took my car. I didn't know you had an assessment. I didn't know.
I literally just looked at the tire and I go, oh, it looks flat. I don't know shit about cars. It looks flat.
That's the other thing.
And it's based on you filling it up too. So my assessment is based on your assessment.
Right.
And then me literally looking at a tire.
I did say some of this in the kitchen, but we were so triggered that it was just a really interesting thing. I was like,
Yeah.
I didn't know it needed 4 tires. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's been a couple of years. They're balding.
Right. And yeah. So just in the future.
And I do hey, brutal honesty, I do have a bias where I really enjoy leading the car stuff because it can go unattended.
I know.
And I know that's past stuff, but I did bring that into it where it's fuck, because Lauren puts it off so much that it's dangerous now.
So I felt a little, you know how before we've worked with our incredible coach on the Princess in the Tower thing.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I felt the Princess in a Tower thing a little bit.
Okay.
And please hear me.
Is that in the solution's not to you can figure it out, or you can just figure it out for yourself,
the
because
solution is,
that defensive comes up to me. It's you figure it out, and you know what? If you die, great.
Right.
I don't like you that much anyway.
No, that's not the solution. We need to wrap it up here, but I want you to know that there was no intent. So my request is, I know that with the car thing, I put it off. And so it involves a little bit more of a convo. a little bit more of a, hey, I'm noticing this, and me saying, okay.
Thank you for Partnership Podcast.
Oh, we got to go.
Yeah.
We got to go. Thanks for coming to this intense episode of the Partnership Podcast. If you want to know more, stay tuned. Come back for another juicy episode where Trey throws things about.
I don't think we're doing this
take
again.
Take what you like, leave the rest. We will give you a follow-up, I promise. We will talk off camera. Have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.